and perspectives can be overwhelming in our present world of information overload. This is introducing Ground Zero. Ground Zero is a current affairs discussion phone-in program covering topical issues in the polity. The program is a platform for an in-depth analysis of trending issues by professionals, authorities in various fields, analysts, and key actors in the polity. Ground Zero gives the listener an opportunity to contribute to the discussion via phone call, SMS, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. From the conservatively serious to the ridiculously funny, Ground Zero accommodates them all. Professionals, contemporary businessmen and women, policymakers, public service workers, students, artisans, traders, and the in-between. Ground Zero comes up on Tuesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. and Saturdays 4 to 5 p.m. Ground Zero. This program is exclusive to Invicta 98.9 FM. Tune in.
It's a nice and lovely Saturday evening, and you're right here tuned to Invicta 98.9 FM. It's time for the Never Dull Moment program on Radio Ground Zero. Ground Zero is a program that's designed to bring up topical issues in the polity, and with analysts and you, the listener, we try to understand all of these issues. And today on the program, it's not going to be different, as within the week so many things happened in Nigeria, and many Nigerians are talking, tongues are wagging, and of course some are kicking, as there are major decisions taken within the week that many Nigerians are happy with and some are not quite happy with. But before the end of the program, we'll get to feel your pulse and know what side of the divide you belong to. Snippets of the program first before we look at our social media handle. President Muhammadu Buhari nominates ex-service chiefs as non-career ambassadors. The second snippet, Nigerians kick as Buhari extend IG's tenure. Did the extension contravene the Police Act? We'll find out and know what exactly is happening. Now, to be a part of Ground Zero, you can join us via our various social media handles, starting from Twitter and Instagram at Ground0989, at Ground0989 on Twitter and Instagram. You can also watch us live on Facebook at Invicta FM Kaduna, and on YouTube it's Invicta FM Online. Invicta FM Online on YouTube. That's where you can also watch us. These are all channels and avenues where you can see us. But first, let's get to meet our guest on the program today. On the program this evening, I have a loaded house. First, we start with a media consultant and analyst in the person of Zwaho Yanwedi. Zwaho, you're welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you very, very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay. I also have with me the Reset Nigeria convener, and he's a public affairs analyst in the person of Obewe Lawrence. You're welcome to Ground Zero.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
All right. Now let's look at details of what we'll be talking about on the program today. But let me also point you to the direction of our Twitter handle. You can go to @Ground0247, @Ground0247, where you will see the post in respect of today's program. Just add your voice to the conversation there, and also on Facebook, Invicta FM Kaduna. The post is up. Add your voice to the conversation. All right, President Muhammadu Buhari has forwarded the names of the immediate past service chiefs to the Senate as non-career ambassadors designate. In a letter to Senator Ahmed Lawan, the president of the Senate, the president said, in accordance with Section 171, subsection 1, subsection 2, subsection C, and subsection 4 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, I have the honor to forward for confirmation by the Senate the underlisted 5 names of nominee as non-career ambassador designates. The nominees are General Abayomi G. Olanisakin, retired; Lieutenant General Tukur Y. Buratai, retired; Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, retired; Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, retired; and Air Vice Marshal Mohammed S. Usman, retired. The President urged the Senate to give expeditious consideration to the nominations. That came from a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina. Now, let's look at some background in respect of this. In January, July, and December of last year, 2020, the Senate had asked President Muhammadu Buhari severally to sack the former service chiefs after a long hesitation, including extending their tenures. The president reluctantly did what most Nigerians, including the Senate, had been asking for. They were removed. Now, what the president had quickly and strangely forwarded, now that the president has quickly and strangely forwarded the names of this sacked, or do we say removed or resigned or retired, choose anyone that you choose to, former service chiefs as ambassadorial designate, will the Senate confirm or endorse the individuals it had earlier called for their sacking? Let's see what will come out of that. Though we have seen strange policy flip-flop, we never know what can come out of this. Maybe our senators will see reason with the president or decide to do something else. In the course of the program, our analyst and you, the listener, would add your voice to this conversation. Let's give some calculated permutations to see how the outcome will be and what it portends for our country. Now, let's look at the second items, which is many Nigerians have kicked against the extension of the tenure of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Mohammed Adamu, by President Muhammadu Buhari. Buhari extended Adamu's tenure, which ended on Monday, by 3 months. The extension was announced on Thursday by the Minister of Police Affairs. I just want to mark out some things. He retired on Monday, whether he left office or not, by virtue of the law. On Monday, he retired. So he wasn't a police officer again, but a retired police officer. And on Thursday, appointed by the tenure extension given to him on Thursday by President Muhammadu Buhari. This is coming from the Minister of Police Affairs in a statement he released in Abuja. The elongation became necessary, according to him, to allow for a robust and efficient process of appointing a new IG, like they didn't know that he was going to retire. He said this is not unconnected to the desire of Mr. President to not only have a smooth handover, but to also ensure the right officers is appointed into the position. Oh, we have some officers that are not right. Okay, Mr. President is extending by 3 months to allow him to get into the process of appointing a new one. 3 whole months. Okay, the minister dismissed insinuations that the extension had created a lacuna in the system, adding that it was within the president's constitutional prerogative. He dismissed a social media creation earlier stories that the IGP had been retired. Okay, it was one of those, so that's quoting him now, it was one of those social media stories that one cannot control, he said. Now, looking at the extension, whether it contravenes the Police Act, by extending the IGP's tenure, the president has contravened the amended Police Act, which he signed personally into law. Section 7, subsection 6 fixes a single term of 4 years without an option of extension of tenure for the holder of the office of the Inspector General of Police. But this one has not served 4 years, so he has not broken that particular one. Okay, the person appointed into the office of the Inspector General of Police shall hold office for 4 years. It reads, Section 18, subsection 8 of the Act also states that every police officer shall, on retirement or appointment, serve in the police force for 35 years or until he attains the age of 60 years, whichever is earlier. Now, is there a precedence to all of this extension, elongation, the appointment, and all of that? President Buhari had in the past extended the tenure of heads of military and paramilitary organizations. The most recent are that of the immediate past head of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps and the Nigerian Correctional Service, who also got tenure elongation beyond their retirement ages. Does that make it right? The immediate past service chief, led by former Chief of Defense Staff Gabriel Olanisaki, also got an extension twice after attaining retirement age. Well, that's the precedence. But now let's look at reality on ground, how it affects us, how it strengthens or weakens the system, and how all of this will rub off on the morale of those that are still in service. Well, first, let's start from the first one and see what we will make out of this. The first item, that's the submission of the names of ex-service chiefs as non-career ambassadors designated to the Senate. Lawrence Obewe, once again, welcome to the program. All right. Let's look at what we have on our hands now in respect of the ex-service chiefs whose names have been submitted by the president to be assented to. Is it assented to now? To be ratified or signed or agreed or accepted by our legislature. What's your take about this first?
Well, I think it's something that is usual when you talk about this president. But there's something I want to draw attention to. If you look at the letter, the statement by the presidential media handlers, they stated that these service chiefs resigned.
Okay.
Resigned. So, question is, if somebody has resigned an appointment under a government that is no longer interested, because that's the statement they release, what is qualifying such a person again for nomination? Somebody has already tendered a resignation, which means is that he's no longer interested in serving you.
Yeah.
So why are you renominating him? My personal view is the fact that there is something they all know that we don't. Don't forget that these are guys that stayed there. Some of them stayed 41 years in service, some 40, some 38. There is none of them, all the service chiefs, that did not stay beyond this thing. If you go to, even you talked about the correctional services. The man you are talking about was a man that was sacked by the correctional services, took the correctional services to court. Upon inauguration of President Muhammadu Buhari, he recalled him and made him the Controller General.
Yes.
So it's a precedent. My fear is the fact that I think that President Muhammadu Buhari has broken every negative record in Nigeria. And what is going to do to the structure of public service in Nigeria will be unprecedented. We've not started seeing, because people keep citing some of these appointments and some of these I don't know whether to call them unconstitutional infractions as precedent in the future. So, and that's my fear for Nigeria. I don't know what he thinks. I don't know how they manage his media management, because if they had said sacked, now if you look at that, these are guys that every Nigerians have known since they came on board. I'm not sure that they can get the nod of 5% of Nigerians as having performed in their duties. So what are the criteria that have qualified them for this nomination to become ambassadors? There must be something they are holding against this president. So because what is playing out is the fact that it looks like their resignation was negotiated, and this is the payment for them to give way, since popular opinion were against their continued stay in office. And that's my opinion.
All right. Zwa, we'll come to you now.
Yeah.
Give us your general impression about this first before we get to other.
All right. Thank you very much once again for inviting me. First things first. Are they qualified? Are they qualified to be nominated as ambassadors? Yes, they are qualified, because they are citizens of this country.
Yeah.
They are Nigerians and fully qualified. And any president is, it is his discretion to appoint any citizen of this country onto such positions.
Okay.
And I've seen that a lot of people have been making issues concerning career
ambassadors. You can be an ambassador whether you're a career diplomat or a non-diplomat. In fact, career diplomats, it's only lately, probably in the last 50 years, not globally, that we started having career diplomats as ambassadors and stuff like that. When foreign services, started being very well streamlined and stuff like that. So they are ably qualified, and it is at the president's discretion to appoint them. Absolutely no problem about that. But then again, it's a matter of contexts. Okay? It's a matter of context. It's a matter of many other things. The polity generally, and then also the people involved.
Yeah.
These are service chiefs that have way outstripped their time in the respective services that they, or in which they served.
Yeah.
Okay, we are talking about generals that were supposed to retire like 6 years ago or more, like that, not being retired or not retiring, or they were. So that's why when they say tenure extension, I have a problem with tenure extension. It's more of service extension, because if you say tenure extension, the person probably has not reached the
number of years,
of service. Okay, and then his tenure as probably a service chief
has expired.
So you extend it. So tenure extension is really different from service extension.
Okay.
And that is where we have the problem. Service extension. A lot of careers have suffered based upon this, and it has affected the armed forces. Many people, did not achieve the zenith of their careers, as a result of this kind of extension. So yes, you, the president, it is at your discretion. But then again, there are contexts within which this discretion should work.
Yeah. Okay.
If you breach it, then you are causing trouble that you may not be the one to suffer or to contend with. It's going to affect, like Lawrence mentioned, it's going to affect the system entirely, and it is disservice to the nation.
Okay, now let's leave the issue of tenure extension and all of that until the next item that we'll look at. But still staying with this nomination of the ex-service chiefs as non-career ambassadors designate now. Why is it that so many Nigerians or many people are kicking against it, and different conspiracy theories coming up that being a non-career ambassador designate, there are some level of what's it called? Immunity.
Yeah.
Yes.
That they are being provided.
Yes, they are being provided and all of that.
Well, I don't know. Is there a need for such immunity? Because the government that appears to be favorable to them, or that is in fact that has favored them, is still the government in power until. Okay, and any government may come in 2023 and then remove them, and they will still face, So I really don't know. But just like he said, Lawrence said, there may be much more than we know. In fact, there is much more than we know. There is much more than we know, because the fact is, for goodness sake, even in their chosen careers, they had served and finished. Well, a lot of Nigerians have complained about their service and about the context within which they serve, extended, career life, okay, at the expense of, the respective services. But what is so special that they have to be made ambassadors? What is so special?
Okay, if it sails through in the Senate, what would that speak of our legislature if consistently the Senate have said these people failed, they should go, the president should sack them and all of that? Now, just a couple of weeks after eventually acceding, though they said they
were not sacked.
They resigned voluntarily. They are bringing them back to you now, whether resigned voluntarily or sacked or whatever. If these are persons that you have told the president that they are already doing a disservice to the system,
pretty much vote of no confidence.
Yes, vote of no confidence. Now they are bringing these same persons to the legislature to endorse. I don't want to put you in the position of our legislature. If you were in that house, what would be your position in respect of endorsing this nomination?
I think the major shocker will be if they reject these nominations. I think that would be the major shockers around Nigeria. You look at the Senate. This particular 9th Senate is notorious for it. They have come out publicly to tell you that whatever the president asks them to do, they will do. So they might have passed vote of no confidence on the service chiefs, but they passed vote of confidence on the president, and it is this president that is giving them nomination. So my disappointment, my surprise will be if they refuse to clear them. I am sure they are going to pass through the Senate. Now, I think that the major misgiving about this is the fact that I don't think that if these people served and Nigerians were very comfortable, that they will give a damn whether they have been appointed as career ambassadors or not. But the overall verdict on them is that they failed, and Nigerians have shouted that for more than 4 years now. Yeah. So, and that's why a lot of Nigerians are disappointed that this is going this way. You talked about immunity. I think that is not just about what will happen to them around Nigeria. There has been talk about them facing criminal charges in the International Criminal Court. So there must be something we don't know. There must be something. There must be something, a path they have entered with this president that Nigerians don't know about. Don't forget that these same service chiefs came on board immediately the president was inaugurated from 2015. Yeah. So, and they played major role in the president winning election. Don't forget that prior to 2015, there was a verdict the election would not hold in Borno and some of the northeast states. But they got millions of votes, and the chief of army staff was then the commander of one of the operations there.
Probably he was able to make the place peaceful enough.
So that's what I'm saying. Yes, that's the only explanation we can give it. Then the one that was forcefully removed, former IG of police, was in charge of Kano, where there was no single invalid vote.
Yeah.
So there must be things that we don't know about. If they have been integrated quickly into where nobody can even touch them, from where everybody was complaining about them, there must be something. For me, I don't know what the president thinks. Does he ever sit down to reflect on what people think about his government and the way he does things? That's what worries me more than any other thing. His handlers, the people that keep issuing condolence messages and giving you update on who has been appointed, do they ever have they gone through to see how people before them or how people outside here manage administrations? Because sometimes even the statements, even me that has no idea about media management, you wonder what these people are, what they are smoking, as Alex Ferguson will always say over there. So I don't know what they are thinking about, but I don't think they are helping the president, and I don't think that the president is helping himself.
That's your perspective, that's your opinion, and it's personal to you. Yes, you're listening to Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9 FM, and we've been looking at the nomination of the ex-service chiefs as ambassador, non-career ambassador designate, and what the Senate is going to do about that. After this break, we'll be looking at the extension of the tenure or service of the Inspector General of Police. But first, let's take these messages, and right after these messages, we'll be right back on the program Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9 FM. right, welcome back from that commercial timeout. You're still listening to Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9 FM. Now, before we went on that break, we talked about the nomination of ex-service chiefs as non-career ambassadors, and now we'll be looking at the extension of the tenure of the IG, or the service of the IG, as Zwahu wants us to call it, and looking at whether it contravenes anything, most especially the Police Act that the president just signed into law. He officially retired on Monday, and retirement can be as a result of 35 years in service or attaining the age of 60 years, whichever one. Automatically, once it hits that date, you don't need any letter or any consent or anything. You are retired by default, and your continuous stay is seen as an illegality in the face of the law. Now, still looking at the Police Act, it is only a policeman that is still in service,
yes,
that can be appointed as the Inspector General of Police. If he retired on Monday and he was appointed on Thursday, I don't know.
SIG.
Yes, he was the ex-IG. That was reappointed as the IG. I don't know, like some people would say, me, I don't know Buko. Please, let's start with Lawrence.
I think it's almost the same thing with what we just discussed. The problem is what interpretation both the president and his handler gives to Nigerian laws. Unfortunately, again, we have a legislature that will all be surprised if they take up the matter, because laws are no respecter of persons, and every society is built on laws. So if a country cannot maintain simple rule of law, it means that that country as it is has become lawless. And I think that that's the precedent that this administration is setting. So I don't know where they are going with it. I don't know what the handlers are thinking. I don't know, because I know that most of his appointees are lawyers. So do they ever come together and even look at some of these things and the legal implications of it? Unfortunately, we will no longer have people who can really stand up to the president. I know if you were in the last Senate, they would have stood up to him, both in this and that of the service chiefs.
Yeah.
But we now have people who have even confirmed to us that if the president decides to be a life president, that they will push it in the Senate. and I'm quoting the Senate president. So.
Okay, let's come to Zwahu now. I have listened to many of our legal luminaries and also SANS and all of that, and I don't think I've heard one that was able to explain why this particular extension of tenure, how it happened, why it happened, and that's none have been able to explain to me. I don't know if one has been able to convince you in respect of this particular one.
It's not a matter of convincing me or anybody. It's a matter of what they have said. And I'm not talking about the lawyers. I think last week, during this week, there was somebody that approached a court, and the judge actually, approached the court, and his prayer was that the IG should not parade himself as the IG.
Yeah,
okay.
That was on Tuesday or Wednesday.
And he got judgment.
Yeah,
in favor of his prayer. Okay, but by Thursday we had this extension or elongation or whatever of tenure or of service and stuff like that. And the reason that they gave is that we are giving him 3 months so that we'll be able to select.
The right person.
That really speaks to a lot of things. And when I heard that, it just made me fear for this country. What kind of mind, what kind of thinking goes into the running of this country today? This man did not join the service last year. he did not become IGP last year. Okay, he joined the service in 1986.
Yes.
So it was clear, and they knew when
his exit point
exit will be. What were they doing that they didn't sit down to
look for that right
person? Because I mean, it should be seamless. It should be seamless. What happened to is it? Do they call it retirement leave?
Yeah, terminal leave.
Yeah. Terminal leave.
3 months before your eventual.
So what has happened to terminal leave? We know that there is terminal leave in public service.
Yeah.
Or civil service.
The last president maintained terminal leave for most of his appointees.
In fact,
as bad as he was,
Jonathan, it was terminal leave that they gave to
Sanusi. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. They said no, we didn't send him away. Of course, everybody knew what was happening around. No, he's supposed to go. So this is terminal leave. He should go on what has happened to that? What kind of mind goes into the running of the affairs of this country? That this is the reason that we will be given. Okay, it makes me fear. Is it that things are done on an ad hoc basis in this country? Okay, in the face of the kind of problems that this country is facing, the kind of insecurity, the kind of economic crisis happening, everything, and then you are not really thinking in a strategic and systematic way about how to run, only to come and demonstrate some ad hoc decisions or administrative decisions and positions. No, it does not make sense. Okay, and it makes many people ask the question, as with the issue of the appointment of the ambassadors designate, who is holding this country?
Who is in charge?
Who is holding this country, as they say in English language, by the balls? What is happening? Okay, no problem because this man is retired.
Yeah.
And people complained about the service chiefs. We thought that the administration they heard it and so they would not repeat. But then flagrant impunity. It's because it is impunity. Look, you can think what you want to think. Whatever, we can do it. We are doing it. Nobody cares about perception. Nobody cares about respect. For goodness sake, this is a democracy, and the government, elected people, they are beholden to the citizen.
Yeah, I'll come to Lawrence now. How do you think, if the president really wanted to extend this tenure of the IG, would it have been right, or could the president have done it a couple of days before his official retirement to extend his tenure? And not because what the law says now, for me, what I'm just looking at is the fact that a retired person cannot be appointed as an IG. That's the only place where I feel, I might be wrong, where I feel that probably the president did not really follow I'm not a lawyer, but if the president had extended his tenure a couple of days before he retired, I think they would have been dancing on the
safer zone.
Safer zone.
Yeah. It would have meant that people know what is happening. They have their hands on the tap.
I don't think that even that would have assuaged everybody. Yes, because he was supposed to be retired. He was attaining the compulsory retirement age. So are you extending it on what basis? Are you extending it that there are no more capable hands in the hierarchy of police to take over from him? Or are you extending it as an approval of a job well done? So what is the basis? Unfortunately, we're in a country where nobody gives reasons for everything. Yesterday on this program, I talked about accountability and transparency. And that's the only thing that you see that is lacking in this. That the government feels that they don't owe anybody any explanation, that they are not accountable to anybody, that nobody needs to know what the processes are. Don't forget that before any civil servant retires in Nigeria, 3 months before your retirement, the commission will notify you, as well as your employer, that this person is nearing retirement age. And that's 3 months. The president couldn't find a replacement in 3 months, but he's promising you to find a replacement in another 3 months. So does it even make sense? That's what we are talking about. I have nothing against the president, but I think that we must come to a time in our national life that we begin to look at our laws and stop building strong men. I think we have built strong men. We have brought this president as a strong man in 2015, but he's no longer working for us. So what he's now doing is to kill the institution. The question is he planning to get another strong man after him, or is he going to remain a strong man in power in Nigeria? But by the time you destroy these institutions, every other person will quote your name. What is his place in the history of Nigeria?
Yes, Ground Zero is a program, and it's about time we invite you, the listener, to add your voice to our conversation. Remember, you can do that not just only by calling. You can go to our various social media handles, Invicta FM Kaduna on Facebook. You'll see the post there. You can also watch the video of what's happening right now in the studio. Add your voice to the conversation. Let's have your impression generally. Also on Twitter, you can go to @Invicta FM on Twitter and Instagram and add your voice there. And for the program specific handle, you can go to @Ground0247 on Twitter and add your voice. Let's take our first call this evening. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening, Mr.
Good evening. You're welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Engineer Emmanuel.
Engineer Emmanuel. All right. Let's have your take.
Happy New Year, sir.
I wish you the same.
Let me begin with, we should like to congratulations to the retired army chiefs that we are nominated for ambassador nomination, Mount Career. But the question I will ask to the police, are they the only ones that are qualified for this job? They have done their best to the country. Totally students at the fact we saw what played out. Why shouldn't they allow them to go and rest and bring people on board so that they too will be hard and they will try their own water? But all the things that the Mr. President is doing, I don't know, but I know all the things, there is not anything under the sun. The only thing is just a matter of time. Time will tell us what really is behind all those things. But I hope it will not be too late. But nevertheless, I think he's not the best. He is the president, he that is the best. He feels that is not for him. So that's fine. Ours is also free. All we want is in this country.
All right.
I don't think it's too much to ask.
Okay.
I don't think asking for peace is too much. So let them just be able to control land and property of the prisoners.
All right.
That's all.
Thank you so much, Engineer. Thank you so much. Let's take this other call. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening.
Good evening. You're welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Good evening, Lawrence and the other man there. I'm Kure by name.
All right, Kure, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you. Your analysts have spoken very well. You see, my much concern is about this executive power that was given to the president. It seems to me he's abusing that opportunity. Sorry to say that, because he do things the way he wanted. We are not a military regime. At least people have been crying about this army chiefs. I was expecting in the moment they write resignation, my little understanding that I stay in the barrack, a military man write a resignation, there's something behind it, and they will question him for that. Rather, that is the military that need to retire him, not him to write resignation. I was expecting the president to hand them over, because few of them has a questionable character that they need to answer through ears.
No, you cannot say that.
Allegedly.
Or better.
Yes. Secondly, about this IG. You know, the IG knows that the president will not allow him to go. That's why he refused to hand over before the president left. But nevertheless, I was expecting him, before this man should go, if you want him to continue. 3 months ago, he will have tell the commission that he needs him to they should extend his tenure. Anyway, Mr. Garba Shehu says it the other time that they will hand over to somebody that will not give, secure their life. I don't know whether there are some people among them that they don't trust them. That's why they don't want to allow them to take over the position. Okay. But they should always do things the way it's supposed to be. We are not in military. We are in democracy. Democracy is all about the people. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Good afternoon to all your guests.
You're welcome.
My name is Comrade Gabriel, the unpaid man.
All right, Comrade Gabriel.
It's just very, very unfortunate that because your analysts here have played one thing I wanted to play because I don't know what the difference between I resign and I retire. In fact, from that stage, there was a lot of confusion. Unfortunately, maybe the president is trying to make this happen to let them go and cool down now because as far as Nigeria is concerned, they have a lot of questions to answer from Nigerians. Maybe that's another way to take them out, let them go and rest outside there. Maybe probably nobody is going to talk to them. On IG, the analysts have already said very, very clear. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria that after somebody, because there was some news that somebody have already been appointed to act. But unfortunately, we can't cohort that and the president has said it. So nobody know actually what is the secret behind all this is here to be reviewed to Nigerians. But all we want that let Nigeria be in peace. Let this insurgency, let them be defeated. That's our prayer. Okay. Please don't forget also 18 years now they never pay us for Kaduna Tesla Limited as they help us.
By God's grace, they are listening and I'm sure they will do something about it. Let's take this call. Hello, good evening, welcome to Ground Zero. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is AJB Monday. I'm calling from Rumi.
All right, AJB, let's have your take.
Okay, sir. I just want to comment on this the service chiefs that he removed and he nominated them as career ambassador. See, it's just like as my big brother Engineer Emmanuel say. Does it mean that these people are the only capable people in Nigeria? When they were in service as a service chief, we were having insecurity. The performances were not even good. We were crying for a long time that you should remove them. Is there anything that presidents don't want to tell us? Something is happening somewhere. And may God help Nigeria.
Amen.
Thank you. That is my...
Thank you so much. May God help Nigeria. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero. Hello. Hello. I can't hear you. Let's take some other call. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening. Haliru Abdullahi is my name.
Haliru Abdullahi.
Yes.
From where are you calling us?
I'm calling from Naya.
All right, let's have your take.
You see, that's what Nigerians are complaining about. When there is a lot of things on the ground like this, like the service chief, Engineer Emmanuel always said it. When I know, but before this time that the IG is not going to be removed, but let the president to do the needful, because this country we cannot continue like this. How somebody we are certain there to remove them, the service chiefs list, and he has finally removed them and he still nominate them again. For what? Another people are there.
He's nominating them. He's nominating them for something else, not continuation as service chiefs, which he has a right to, of course.
Yes. I know he's not against the constitution, but you have to nominate another people because they are already tired. You have to go arrest.
You never can tell. You never can tell whether they are tired. They may be tired as military men, but still their wealth of experience can still serve the president elsewhere. Don't you think so?
So I think we may God help our country.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, 081400989, 07087800989, or you go to our various social media handles, which I'll be going to very soon, to get your comments and what your impressions are about what we have been discussing this evening. Let's take this call. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. You are welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Okay, my name is Buba Umar.
Buba Umar, let's have your take.
Yeah, with regards to tenure elongation. Now, what we see is that the confidence report on human resource is not there. And relatively, there are some certainties we have to be observant about this, that most of offices or political offices is as if it is already been paid off. A typical example, when Babangida was on power, sometimes when people agitate for democracy, what he said that it's his will to come down. And that syndrome of sit tight is still existing and plaguing, particularly in our military system, in our security manager system. So that is what we see today in police, where in fact they are not even prepared to notice that someone is due for retirement. So that is what is happening with that ID. Okay. Otherwise, there are no. In fact, we are waiting to see what reaction is court going to work over this thing. Because if we are under a rule of law is supposed to take its course. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Buba. Let's quickly take some messages from our social media handles. Going straight to the Invicta FM Facebook page, where we have first from Josh Dan Guafan. He's saying that good day, his and co. Indeed, it's indeed unclear to us what President Buhari really means, but it means he confirms to us that those ex-service chiefs are far known to him alone, not for our. I'll skip that. When giving them order or appointments days after leaving office, in true. Well, let's skip that. Okay, this one's coming from Stephen Joseph. Good evening, the peacemaker and the guest in the studio. Buhari is here to tell us what is between him and the immediate past service chief. Of course, they were his service chiefs. They defended and protected him, so that we all know is what's between them. So, the president has the right to, of course, appoint those his trust so much. As for the IG's extension of service, this is impunity and violation of the Constitution as well as the Police Service Act. We are still waiting for the honchos of the government to come out and, as usual, to defend its legality. Joel Matthew Gwaza is saying, good afternoon, his and the invited guests in the house. It's rather unfortunate what is happening in our country despite the achievement of the service chief, which you termed as very low. Mr. President still forwarded their names to the House as ambassador. I really smell something fishy in this government still. Yeah, the president still extend the IGP tenure for another 3 months. Don't we have a lot of AIGs that are qualified for that seat? The president should not play with our intelligence like this. Have a nice day. I'm Joe Gwaza from Goningora. And Kayode Adedute, ex-service chiefs as non-career ambassador in a society where square pegs in round hole is normal practice. Sadly, those that are genuinely passionate about nation building are unduly subjected to an unending fasting and prayer for the people in authority to see reasons why the right thing must be done for the nation to move forward. What about soldier man heading custom service, thereby deny the real custom officers from attaining the pinnacle of his chosen career? Comrade Kayode Opa Okede is saying good afternoon in Victor. Good afternoon to the guest and Comrade Opa James from Marai. Buhari nomination of service chiefs as non-career ambassadors. I think it is a wrong and erroneous gesture at this point in time when the failures of the ex-service chiefs in their previous engagement was obvious and crystal clear for all to see. Well, that's your opinion though. For some other persons, they performed excellently. Then soldiers on the front line were singing and jubilating when the news of retirement of their boss went viral. Of course, when there's an opportunity for you to rise in your chosen career, you should jubilate, not necessarily because the old person did not perform. What else did Buhari need to see that his ex-nomination will skip some of those stuff? Okay, Jeremiah Isaac is saying, good evening, Mr. President did wrong by appointing ex-service chiefs. Obviously, there is something we Nigerians don't know about, which he clearly have not told us. Excuse me. Mr. President should stop creating avenue for doubt and making Nigerians say things against the government of the day. Amy Frank Collins is saying, good evening, Invicta FM. President Buhari appointment of ex-service chief as career ambassador is a tactic to salvage them from being apprehended and tried at the ICC because the Vienna Act gives them such immunity cover from being arrested and tried. But notwithstanding, if the former Sudan sitting president can be arrested and someone at the ICC, who are the ex-service chiefs to be shielded from such crime of genocide? That's your own, I don't know. They must answer the call at ICC when the time comes for that. For that of the president extending the office of the IGP to another 3 months is the highest level of impunity against Nigerian Constitution and the Police Act, which he himself signed few months ago into law. Those are from our Facebook page. You can go to the Ground 0989 Twitter handle and also see what we have dropped there by listeners and other persons that are following us. We really do not have much time on our hands. We just go to taking our parting shots on the program. I'll come to Comrade Lawrence Obewe. What will be your parting shots on the program today?
It's very simple. It's for the president to remember that this country first. Even for him to achieve success, especially in terms of the huge security challenges we are having, it is very important that he allows people to serve their term and go. Because by extending this tenure, just as he has done with almost all service chiefs, the subordinates that are coming behind, that are looking forward to this position, will continue to sabotage the work that their seniors are doing. But if you allow people to progress, just allow normal progression, you'll be achieving success and efficiency. What he's doing now is actually stopping progress instead of aiding progress.
Zwahu, Yanwedi, what would be your parting shot?
Yeah, well, I want to reiterate that concerning the appointment or their nomination as ambassadors, okay, concerning the service chiefs, their nomination, the president is within his right to nominate them.
Yeah.
And they are also qualified to serve in those positions. The president and the government, in fact, have their foreign policy goals that they want to achieve, that they may want to achieve. And however, the perception on the whole thing is bad, and Nigerians get the impression that really it's not about Nigeria. It's about some people and it's about some interests. Okay? It may just be even all the service chiefs that were nominated. It was probably a blanket nomination for something very specific. Okay? So all of them, it could have been one person, it could have been 2 people that were nominated. Really. That was probably the goal. But then they use every other person to wrap the whole package. Okay? It doesn't go down. And then also the extension of the service, not tenure.
Okay.
I deliberately make the extension of the service of the IGP, the way it was done in the first place, it is wrong. It is the same thing. So the way it was done it just shows us that the people running this country are not strategic. They are not systematic. They run this country on an ad hoc basis. So there isn't any serious policy. And then generally the whole thing, it is just, look, we don't care about you. We don't care about how you think we are serving you. we do what we want to do because we have power. But the person that has power today that does what he wants to do should remember that another person will have power tomorrow and may, pay back in the same coins.
All right. I guess that's about the size of the program today. It's been nice speaking with Lawrence Obewe and Zwaho Yanwedi. Thank you so much for having time to be on Ground Zero.
Thanks, it's a pleasure.
All right, my name is Ehis Admon. Next week, Tuesday, from 5 to 6, I'll be on again for another package of the program. But before I go, I'll say this to you. The Project Nigeria is a project that we all have a stake in, and we must do everything possible to make sure that Nigeria moves, Nigeria works, and Nigeria goes at the speed that is expected of us. And remember, too, that whatever your labors and aspirations in this noisy confusion of life, you must learn to keep peace with your soul with all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams. It's a beautiful world that we live in. Be careful. Strive to be happy. I am the peacemaker with a passion for crowd satisfaction. I am Ehis Admon.